Peace, peace. See thy wealth, water your health, drink a glass of water. So this is where I grew up at. This is where my beginnings were, right here, apartment 403. Let's see, let me make this right here, apartment number 403. This is where I had my early beginnings at as a youngin'. My great grandma, Ruby, she lived here. It was my mom, my great grandmom. I think my uncle stayed here. A few other people stayed here. This is where my early beginnings started, right here. My grandma, she used to sell drugs when I was a young one. Police ran up in the house when I was a young one. It was crazy, but you know, it used to look a lot worse than this back in the day. They've kind of redone things and, you know, got some new siding on it and got new doors and all that. But when we was out here, it wasn't no trees, all this. The trees look good out here now, but when we was out here, trees wasn't out here, none of this stuff. I mean, everybody knew everybody, pretty much. Everybody knew everybody. You know, Miss Doris lived at the first one. You had Ivory and his people living there. You had us living here. You had Miss Jean and her kids. You had Sheila, and I mean, pretty much everybody knew everybody. And then when we moved out of here, we moved to that trailer park that I'm getting ready to show y'all in the next part. But as you can see, I mean, this is the projects I grew up in. Projects I grew up in. Now it's a little bit more quiet. Ain't nobody out here. Everything is good. No drug dealing from what we see. But back then, it was hand in hand, people from house to house, so on and so forth. Now, things have changed. But, you know, this is where I had my beginnings at, right here. You come over this way. Back here. And this is where the kids used to come at. It's a big field over here. And, you know, we used to play tag, hide and seek. We used to race. Everybody would line up on this big field over here and race. I fell off my bike over here on this sidewalk, bust my whole chin, had stitches, had to get stitches. My little green bike, I missed that shit. But nah, this is it, man. This is the big field. As you can see, the playground is back that way. As I probably can't zoom. The playground is right through that little, right there. You can see the toys right there. We had a merry-go-round, several other things. It was just crazy out here, to be honest with you. A lot of drugs, a lot of hard knuckleheads, kind of where I got it from. You know, when you grow up with it right in your household, and you don't really understand it, you know, when you're a child. But as you grow up, you realize, damn, great-grands had it popping over there. Police running in the house and everything. But, you know, this is where it is, man, growing up in the projects. Even if you grow up in the projects, you can still make it. Look at me, I made it. I mean, I didn't grow up in, like, the worst scenario, but this shit ain't the best either. So, you know, we just want to give you some perspective of where I grew up at. This is actually, and you know, it's a blessing to be able to make it to where I am today and to accomplish a lot of the things that I have, considering everything that I put myself through growing up. You know, I didn't really have the easiest life, but, you know, I didn't have it as worse as what a lot of people have it, you know, and that's why I feel like if I made it, a lot of people can make it, because, you know, coming from these beginnings right here and, you know, having low self-esteem, fear of rejection issues, fear of abandonment, you know, a lot of that stuff was created right here. A lot of that was created right here in this house, right here. You know, but we're adults now, and we can actually move about how we want and create our own life and our own destiny. And you too, if you was in a space to where you felt like it was no hope, you can actually make it as well. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Next, we're gonna leave here and we're gonna go from you know, these apartments here. I think it was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bath, there's 3 little bedrooms. We had to sleep in the bed, you know, 2 at the foot, 2 at, it was crazy. 2 at the foot of the bed, 2 at the, yeah, it was just like that. But yeah, man, we're gonna take y'all over to the prison where I spent 6.5 years at, because I spent a lot of time in that jail, you know, for a lot of dumb shit that I did, selling drugs, petty drug dealer, and try to take the easy way out, easy way always ends up being the long route. So, you know, anyhow, see y'all when I get to this jail, and y'all can let me know what y'all think in the comments. Also, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe, hit that notification bell, or peace. I'll be right back. Yo. So this over here is where I grew up at, right here. This, not this trailer here, but this is where we had the trailer at, right here. This particular spot was where we had the trailer. We also had a shed over here. Let's see. The shed was like right there where that dirt pile is. Right there. And it's kind of where I spent my early days at. I think it was probably around 2nd, 3rd grade all the way up until maybe 8th grade. I spent my time here. My mom, she spent a lot of her time working when we was younger. My pops, me and my sister had different pops. But my mom, she spent a lot of her time, you know, at work, which took a lot of our time, a lot of the time away from us. I just remember being here. You know, she would always have these parties every year. You know, we spent a lot of time with my stepfather because, you know, he worked, but he was also in the streets doing his thing. But he worked for the most part. But this is the kind of like the second place that I remember us growing up. You know, as I was growing up, this little spot right here. The trailer that we had, she had paid for it, and she took it to the land that we live at, you know, where she lives at now. I don't know where that trailer is. That's kind of where I got my first introduction into real estate inadvertently. You know, nothing that was shown to me, but you could see it indirectly, even though I shouldn't say indirectly, but I could see it, but I didn't know what was going on. And I don't even think she knew what was going on, but she actually was one of the first people that pretty much inspired me with the real estate indirectly, because she didn't know what she was doing. She just, when she moved to the next space, she left the trailer here, and my aunt rented it out from her. So that was kind of like her first instance into being a landlord. Even though she didn't own the land, she owned the trailer. But you know, this is kind of where I grew up, right here, this trailer, this space right here. It was a mixture of people out here, from Haitians to Mexicans to Guatemalans to, you know, regular, I guess, you know, you had your whites, a couple whites out here, a few whites, not a lot of them, and black people. You know, but essentially, this is it. And, you know, this is just a part of my humble beginnings. Not so humble no more, but this is part of my humble beginnings. We're gonna go to the place where I initially started out, which was my grandmother's house. And that's gonna be the next place we stop to. In fact, we're gonna stop there. We're gonna put this behind that video since that was where I started at. But you can see where, right here, this is the little platform where place where I grew up, right here. And you know, this little spot right here. Anyhow, I'm gonna take y'all to the next spot. I'm loving this camera. And hope everybody's having a good day. It's Friday. I'm gonna also go by the prison. I'm gonna also go by the prison where I was, so y'all can see that completely, you know, that layout, and where I spent 6.5 years of my life, wasted my time. But you know, that's why we not holding back no punches right now. We living life as we should, because you never know when it could be over with. Yo, this is the jail that I was at right here. You can't really, I don't want to really get up on it too much, because they don't be having that. Let me see how you bring the zoom in. But you know, though, this is the jail right here. Damn. Let's see. All of this back here, that's the jail. You got, I done been in almost every building, but I don't really want to be out here for too long because they'll call the police. I got a flat tire back here before, and they had this joint packed with police thinking I was trying to help a prisoner get out. But I spent 6.5 years here. I spent 6.5 months in that boot camp building. I spent a year or some change in that building right there. I spent about a year in that medium building, some years in that minimum building. I mean, only place I haven't been to was the maximum security. I spent time in the hole for 30 days by myself with a mat, a cot, toilet paper roll as a pillow, and you know, at night they would give you the cot, but they would take it away in the daytime. But no, I spent a lot of time here, man. This is kind of a place that I grew up from the age of 19 up until 28, and off and on. I did 2-3 year bids and a 6.5 month bid. Well, actually, one was 38 months, one was 32 months, and the other one was 6.5 months. Something like, it all came up to be like 78 months and some change. You know, I spent some time down here, spent some time upstate, and you know, overall, I'm just glad that shit is over with. I don't ever forget about this. You know, I'm still institutionalized to this day. You know, but, you know, no matter what the hell you go through in life, you can always overcome. Every morning I woke up, I was reading my real estate books. Every morning I woke up, I was reading my real estate books. I was making definitions and, you know, word vocabulary cards and everything. I still got those cards. You know what I'm saying? And it's all a part of the experience. And to be able to come out here right now after doing all this time, if the police come, I don't care. There's nothing in the car. I'm not warranted for nothing. But I know if I sit out here for too long, they will call the police officers and wonder what the hell I'm doing back here with their dogs and everything. But you know, anyhow, thank y'all for tapping in with me. If I could get up on it any closer, I will. But this is it's a large compound back there. You know, they got the violation of probation building. It's a jail. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, anyway, thank y'all for tapping in. This is my beginnings from where I started with my great-grandmother to when my mother moved to the trailer park. And, you know, for me doing all this time right here, I mean, I could take y'all to where she stay at now, but, you know, essentially, we'll do that when we get back over there. Anyhow, thank y'all for tapping in. I'll probably do the video of where I'm at, where she's at now, but I probably won't. We'll just probably keep it like this. It's a pretty much long enough video right now. Anyway, let me get out of here before they call the police and think I'm trying to help a prisoner get out. And with that, everybody have a good day. Enjoy your strong end. It's Friday. And stay hydrated. Drink a glass of water. Peace.